Steel boots stomping, crashing the floor. Two wild Yinzers kicking through the door. Loud like a jag-off at a pins game fight. Brace yourself, this ride ain't polite. Two dumb Yinzers, loud and proud. Heads in the clouds, voices in the crowd. Chaos brewing, they don't play nice. Hold on to your iron and grab your prime anti-slice. Tales from the burg with a hint of mayhem. Pierogi powered, nothing can constrain them. Knocking back stories like an icy cold brew. You never know what these two might spew. Two dumb Yinzers, loud and proud. Heads in the clouds, voices in the crowd. Chaos brewing, they don't play nice. Hold on to your iron and grab your prime anti-slice. From the bug with a hint of mayhem. Pierogi powered, nothing can constrain them. Knocking back stories like an icy cold brew. You never know what these two might spew. Two dumb Yinzers, loud and proud. Heads in the clouds, voices in the crowd. Chaos brewing, they don't play nice. Hold on to your iron and grab your prime anti-slice. Rivers collide where the laughs always flow. Black and gold thunder everywhere they go. The madcap kings breaking every mold. With two dumb Yinzers, the stories don't get old. Two dumb Yinzers, loud and proud. Heads in the clouds, voices in the crowd. Chaos brewing, they don't play nice. Hold on to your iron and grab your prime anti-slice.
Aloha, everybody. Good morning. Welcome to the show. Welcome back to the Two Dumb Yinzers. This is episode 851. 851. My God, 851. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome back. I do want to say good morning to Tortilla. He's ready for a nap. I think you and Mike both. You guys could take a mid-show nap together.
I might need one. Dude, like, my days are getting longer and longer at work.
And it ain't going to get any better the closer you get to Christmas. Everything gets busier around Christmas. So.
Oh, it's getting busier the closer we get to Thanksgiving. This is not going to be a fun one for Villa Thunder.
I got a little funny story to lighten up the day to get us started. I was checking out Derpy yesterday. He had his nerd show. They were doing the nerd show after our show. And I stopped by to check it out, and I kid you not, I go in and I'm watching for about 3 minutes. And remember yesterday during our show, everybody started commenting about Derpy picking his nose. There was probably about half dozen messages right in a row. So I'm sitting there and I'm watching, and I got like three things going on. I'm not really paying too much attention, and I look up, and Derpy in his nose, he is again. You know, I'm thinking, oh, there it is. He was digging, and to no surprise, he goes nose to mouth. He went straight from his nostril into his mouth. No shame whatsoever.
You never go nose to mouth.
You never go nose to mouth. And I didn't see it earlier in the show. I have to confess, when we were doing our show and the guys were saying that Derpy was picking his nose, I didn't see it. I was doing other things. So, I thought, all right, whatever. Maybe he was giving it a little simple scratch. Dude, straight nose to mouth. It was so fucking funny. We have it. I'm going to cut it probably the weekend. Maybe we'll show it on Monday or something, but it was pretty comical to say the least. His buddies over there talking about movies and nerd things and things like this. And Derpy nose to mouth, it was almost, I was waiting for the other hole. I was waiting for him to go in the other nostril and then go to nose to mouth as well. But he only went one hole, nose to mouth. And
maybe he knows where the good flavor boogers come from. Maybe a certain nostril has a certain flavor, man. You go to that one restaurant that you like, you go there. You don't always want to go to the other one, man.
Yeah. So there you go. Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the show. Tortilla's ready for a nap. Good morning to him. Good morning to Mark Malone. He says, need some of that marching powder, Derpy. RB says, Derpy prefers ass to mouth. And Tortilla says,
never go west.
He goes, that Mark, no, that's why I need a nap been up all night making snow angels, and now I'm at work. Maybe that'll help you, Mike. Maybe you need to try some snow angels before the show sometime. That'll give you a little bit of energy.
Yeah.
Christmas is right around the corner. We'll figure it out.
A little cocaine, a little proven marching powder, a Red Bull or something. Mix it together, see what happens.
Have you been drinking coffee? You haven't been drinking your coffee lately, I've noticed.
No, no. I haven't been drinking the coffee because if I don't eat with my coffee, my blood sugar drops and it gets all jacked up, and
Okay. Tortilla's saying, shit, don't do it, Mike. He says it's not worth it. He said, stick with your Red Bull, stick with your coffee. You'll get addicted.
I'm going face first and go.
Yeah, you'll get addicted, and then it'll start corroding through your cheekbones and all this kind of weird shit. You'll be that guy. You know what I mean?
Good. Hey,
your nasal
it keeps me awake, man.
Your nasal cavities will be like 3 times the size of their normal size.
They'll be like Artie Lang. My nose.
Your nose looks like Artie Lang.
like my nose will collapse, and then the mass of it collapsing will cause a black hole in my face. The whole universe will get sucked into my nasal cavity.
Yeah. So that's what I'm hoping for. Mark Malone says, I'm dreaming of a white Christmas. RB says, I took some whore home from the club one night and she took it into her mouth straight from her ass. I was mortified. And when you're watching porn, it's one thing. You're like, yeah, baby, take that. But whenever it really happens and something like this happens to you in real life, you're like, fuck. I smelled that. What are you doing? And it's mortifying when things happen in real life compared to porn. Porn can make it hot. There's some things that porn could just make hot because.
And that's one thing.
And again, the chicks that we're taking home usually don't look a lot of the time like these girls do. So, we're already behind the 8 ball. Good morning to Stranger 4420. What's up, dude? 4420 says this coffee is a necessity, possibly even a food group. I agree 100%.
I get by on pure spite and hatred.
Yeah, you do.
I do. There's day like I'll raw dog, going into work at 1 a.m. to 8 a.m.
Anal so attractive on porn.
10 o'clock.
Huh? Why is anal so attractive on porn? But when I think about doing anal in real life, I want to throw up everywhere. I just do. I just do. I dabbed around in my youth, like most people do when they're curious in their 20s, but anymore, it's definitely hotter in porn, man. And how none of these guys ever pull their schlong out and have like dookie on the end? That's a huge concern
because they have good editing, and douching beforehand.
I guess.
Yeah, like you got a game plan. You got to act like you're Bill Belichick. Game planning to beat the Atlanta Falcons in the Super Bowl.
Because if any of my sites experience dookie, I'm done. Any of them. If I see it, I smell it, I hear it, I taste it, anything. I'm done.
Taste it.
I'm done.
You taste it, bro. I think we're going down to deep time. I didn't think we were going down today.
Not am I not only able to perform. I'm not even able to be in the same room. Like I said, when you change a kid's diaper and you're ready to fucking go, just because you got shit all up in your,
Yeah.
I don't know. Once shit enters the scene, I'm out, brother. It's just where I'm at in life. I once lived a day where those kind of things were all right, but just not anymore. I have no interest in seeing duty on my wiener. I have none.
Just seeing duty on my wiener. That's a t-shirt.
That's a t-shirt. Good morning, everybody. I do want to say, hey, what's up, guys? We got a lot of big sports stories going on in Pittsburgh today. Let me just catch up on the board. Barley says this. I got hit a walk-off home run for a local charity tournament. Our sponsor was the local snowman. I got blitzed that night. I was useless for 2 days afterwards. Stay away from the booger sugar, Mike. That's good. That's good advice.
Do I look like I would survive one snort of the Peruvian marching powder? Boys, I'd hit that and I'd be like, and then thunk, my heart would explode.
Yeah. It would be like the guy on Die Hard whenever Bruce Willis dropped them off the building on the one that they said is a Christmas episode. Yeah, that would be you. Your heart. That's your heart when you do.
Yeah, that's what would happen there. Like
what was
as
his
I'm
name?
going down, my heart. Hans Gruber.
Hans Gruber. That's right. Tortilla says, "It's the angles, Ryan. The camera angles." RB says, in the moment, anything seems hot until you catch that nut, and then the utter shame sets. Absolutely.
Yeah, post nut clarity.
Yeah, and I don't want the pre-nut duty and the post-nut clarity. It's just two stories.
Post-nut clarity, the pre-cut duty.
Those two things just do not go together well, because then you're really feeling the shame. Mark Malone says, yeah, it's a young man's hobby for sure. Tortilla, you ever been in the stall racking up some lines and someone has the audacity to take a shit right next to you? RB says, Mark, I was 25 at the time. Seriously, for 2 days, I had zero energy. That's great, man. Guys, we have a lot going on in the Berg this weekend as far as sports. Some here, some afar, a real far, actually, as the Pittsburgh Penguins play today at 2 o'clock in Sweden. I think in Stockholm, Sweden, they're playing the Nashville Predators today at 2. And then at 9 o'clock on Sunday morning, they play them again. It's probably still in Sweden. I didn't look that much into it, but I can only imagine if they're playing today at 2 and then Sunday morning at 9. It looks to me that that's probably in Sweden as well.
Yeah, two games over there.
So they have those two games, 2 o'clock today, 9 a.m. on Sunday. The Pittsburgh Riverhounds are competing in the conference finals, Mike, to make their trip back to the championship game. Conference finals, that's tomorrow. Rhode Island travels to Pittsburgh to play the Hounds. That game is at 6:30 tomorrow.
The Hoons.
The college game day, ESPN college game day will be here starting at 6 a.m. 6 a.m. for the big Pitt Notre Dame game. Of course, Pitt coming into the game ranked 22. Notre Dame number 9. This is a huge game for the Pitt Panthers and for Notre Dame for that matter. ESPN game day, college game day will be down on the North Shore at 6 a.m. I've seen the itinerary, and if you want to get down there, it says show up early. On the list on the itinerary, 6 o'clock itself literally says show up early, bring your sign. So there's going to be crazy drunk people as early as 6 a.m. I can imagine down there getting ready for college game day, and the game is at noon. If you want to watch Pitt versus Notre Dame, it's going to be a big one. There's about 4 big games this weekend with a lot of things on the line. So I'll be watching the one right here in Pittsburgh tomorrow. And finally, the high school playoffs, Mike, they continue. His classes 1, 2, 3, and 5. They are all in their semifinal round tonight in the WPIAL playoffs. In Aliquippa in 4A, and then also the 6A game, they'll be playing this weekend's championship. So tomorrow, Aliquippa plays McKeesport. That's a big game for Aliquippa. Absolutely, man. You got the number, I think, 1 or 2 or 3, one of the top 3 running backs in the country coming out of high school is playing for McKeesport. And of course, Aliquippa is always star-studded, having more players in the NFL Hall of Fame, almost than the Cincinnati Bengals do, Mike. Aliquippa has.
They're one behind. I don't care.
Technically, you throw Tony Dorsett in there. I mean, it's
the town. You can frame it that way. The town has the same amount of Hall of Famers as the Cincinnati Bengals. Yes,
because Tony Dorsett did grow up in Aliquippa, but he went to neighboring Hopewell High School, same place Paul Posluszny came out of, as a matter of fact. But they have 4 NFL Hall of Famers straight from the town itself, which is as many as the Cincinnati Bengals have. So they'll be back at it tomorrow, Mike, for their chance at another championship. The Aliquippa Quips, McKeesport Tigers tomorrow. That's at noon. Noon. And then also Mike, Penn State, they're back at it trying to get break the schneid and get back on the win column. They have Michigan State. This is a game that they could totally win. This is a 3:30 start tonight. Penn State, Michigan State. Mike, come on, salvage a couple of wins and save this season. You just can get a bowl, get a couple more wins, and even if you get the pinstripe bowl, it's still not a total loss. I'm rooting for Penn State, even though I don't like them. But when it comes to out-of-state competition, I always got to take my PA teams. But Pitt, Penn State, a lot of college football, a lot of good sports, Mike, and we're not even into our favorite sport yet.
No, we're not. No. I just don't think Penn State's we don't deserve to be bowl eligible.
Like, they have Rutgers, they have Michigan State, and I forget who the other team is, but it's equally as bad. I think you could win last. Listen, if you could almost beat Indiana last week,
you would think. We took the number 2 team in the land to the end. Oregon, when we played them, I think they were ranked pretty high at that point. Took them to overtime after coming back. You can see the team. There was a reason why this team was highly, touted. They have talent. For whatever reason, this year it just did not coalesce and come together like it did last year.
It seems psychological to me more than anything.
Yeah.
I mean, once you have goals in mind, and then you drop one, and then you have to drop your standard and figure out what your goals are, and then it happens again. Then you have to figure out again what your goals are, and that takes a toll on you. And again, being a Pitt fan, I know this. And you just lose one game, and that could throw you for a loop because you have like I said, you have a mindset of what it is that you're trying to accomplish. And in college football, there's very little wiggle room for error. And it seems like once you hit that first bump and you fall, it's so hard to get back on it. And it's easy to fall into losing streaks for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And especially against teams that you should probably be playing better against. And that's kind of how I seen, because I don't think this Penn State team is bad enough to lose 6 games in a row, especially against some of the competition they had. It seemed more psychological to me. And then the coaching, the coach being removed, they had a lot going on. So I wouldn't expect Penn State not to be back at it next year, but this year they can salvage it. Like I said, Rutgers, Michigan State, and whoever the third team is, I think it's pretty doable, Mike. And even if it's a pinstripe bowl, hey, go to Yankee Stadium and enjoy your team.
Yeah, they're probably going to have a decent amount of guys drafted in the second, third round, and it's going to make you scratch your head, just like, why didn't this team perform better?
Yeah.
You're going to see guys second, third, fourth round, fifth round, probably 2 through 5, like a decent amount of Penn Staters. Like, holy shit, man. These guys are going in and being counted in to fill roles. What the hell happened over there?
For sure, man. They always land on their feet. Cats always do, guys. This is what the injury report looks like for the Steelers as of yesterday. This is the last injury report, guys. Missing practice with his pec again. Edge, Alex Highsmith, is missed practice, and he's day-to-day. We don't know if Alex Highsmith is going to be playing again. At what point, Mike, do we start putting him in the category? Yes, he is certainly more productive when he gets his time, but the time being missed between Alex Highsmith and Corey Trice Jr., at what point do we stop joking about how Alex Highsmith being injury-prone and start seriously being a little bit more irritated? Because, he came back, he had a couple sacks, but then he's, if he misses a couple more weeks, it's, is this what he's going to be?
It's very irritating because, him being out there allows them to move Herbert around into different spots where we thought, Watt was going to be the guy. It's working out to where Herbert's being the guy. It's working out great. But without Alex Highsmith, guess what? Herbert has to go back to that outside. Now we don't have that extra explosive guy bouncing around the defense to confuse the offense. So it's very irksome. And, this is why, he was being brought up during the offseason as trade bait. Is because of the injury woes. Maybe another team would be willing to take a flyer on him. And they got to take a look at him deep in the offseason to see if they want to keep him around or not. Yeah, I think he's leading the team in sacks, or he just fell behind. But you got to be healthy, man. It's just very, very frustrating right now. Because for his first part of his career from 2020 to 2023, he never missed a game. The last 2 years, man, this injury bug's coming on. And, as you age, man, the injuries start piling up. You start to become injury prone later in your career. That's a sign that your career is getting ready to wrap up. And he missed 6 games last year. He's already missed a couple games this year. He's 28, going to be 29 before the season starts next year. They got to move on from him from next year because you can't count on him. Everything you want to do on defense, you can't count on because he is not there. And he's a focal point of defense.
Also missing practice yesterday was Darius Slay, of course, with his concussion. He's still in concussion protocol. And no surprise, Corey Trice Jr., of course, with his hamstring, his knee, everything else. And he also remains on the injured reserve list, guys. Limited at practice yesterday was Broderick Jones with the groin injury, guys. Groin injury pops up for Broderick Jones during the week. We'll get to that just in more in a second here. Also with his pec, Isaac Seumalo. He was limited at practice yesterday. Cam Hayward needed his day of rest, of course. He got the day limited. And then Cole Holcomb with his illness, he was limited. And then finally, back to full practice yesterday was Scotty Miller with his finger, Jonnu Smith, who had a rest day, TJ Watt with the rest day, and finally Jabril Peppers with his quad. They all came back and were at full practice, but it's marked as rest, so I don't know why I read it like that, but it says at rest, but they were back yesterday. So the people that did not practice: Alex Highsmith, Slay, and Trice. Limited, again, Broderick Jones, Isaac Siamalu, Cam Hayward, Cole Holcomb, guys. I want to talk about this Broderick Jones injury at first. Broderick Jones is a guy that, again, you kind of worry about week to week. You don't know what you're going to get from Broderick Jones, but if he is out going into the game, Mike, what's the Steelers' game plan if his groin continues to give him problems throughout the weekend and we have to go a different route? What's the move?
What's the move? I'm pulling up the depth right now because I can't remember who his tackle is. Calvin Anderson would be our guy out there.
So possibly some Calvin Anderson and Andrus Pete on the left side of the line if things don't go our way, right?
Yeah. We'll see how that goes because if we we need Sayamalu, definitely need Sayamalu. If Broderick Jones goes down, you never know what Calvin Anderson's going to give it. He's performed well when called upon, but there's a lot difference being that tackle eligible than being the starting left tackle in the NFL. You know what? I'm willing to give it a try. I mean, it can't be any worse than what Broderick Jones did like last year. This year he's been all right, but
and they had
Calvin Anderson in we trust, I guess. But what's that going to do to the jumbo package?
Well, they had limited practice, so I mean that's no saying that they're going to miss the game, but certainly something to keep our eye on as we get closer to Sunday afternoon, guys. We are just about 49 hours away from the kickoff on Sunday against the Cincinnati Bengals, this rebound game, if you will. There's a lot of confidence, I got to be honest, in the media here in Pittsburgh. I'm not sure where they're picking up all this confidence. The fact that we had no answer whatsoever for a pretty bad team last time we played them, I'm a little bit more concerned than I am confident. Usually, I'm taking them. They're going to win this weekend. I'm not real sure. I'm going to say that they're going to win because that's my squad. But at the end of the day, there was not a whole lot from last game that made me think that we could stop this offense, providing they do the same kind of things with us. Our offense did just fine. I'm going to get into some of the numbers here in a little bit about how things went last time we played them, for us at least, and then we'll take a look and we'll compare of how things can possibly go this week, Mike. So that is the injuries for us. For the Cincinnati Bengals, the injuries look like this. Did not practice yesterday. Trey Hendrickson, again, out. Defensive end Shamar Stewart, out with his knee. Perrine, the running back, out with his ankle, did not practice. Jermaine Burton, the wide receiver, he was sick. And in the guard, Lucas Patrick was out with the calf. All those players did not practice. That's not a good sign for them. Limited. Joe Flacco was limited with his shoulder. B.J. Hill, the defensive tackle, he was out. He had a rest day. Joe Burrow, of course, will not be playing. And back to full practice is cornerback Marco Wilson with his hammy. So they have some issues too. We certainly can't blame injuries if anything happens in this game to us. Mike, I think a lot of talk earlier in the week is Asante Samuel. Is he going to be playing? Is he going to be ready to play? Is he even in playing? I know that you addressed this on yesterday's show. Is he even in playing form? I am going to make a call right now and say I don't think he's going to play, for multiple reasons. For one, he doesn't know the playbook, and I wouldn't think in its entirety. For two, playing shape, and as you mentioned yesterday, and staying in shape are two different things. Duggar was already active when he came over last week, Kyle Duggar, and we was able to work him in that sense. I can't imagine. I can't imagine, and I don't know more than the next guy, but I can't imagine that we'll see Asante Samuel Jr. this weekend.
Yeah, I don't think we are. I haven't seen anything indicating that he will be the guy out there playing, unless something does happen to Slay to where Slay doesn't play and they need someone. They put him out, they activate him, and he gets a handful of snaps and reps. And if he's responding well and playing well, you keep him out there. But right now, I'm leaning towards he's not going to be out there.
Yeah, I can't. I just, like I said,
it's so hard.
I thought it was even a push to get Duggar in last week, and the fact that they did surprise me. Let me catch up on a couple messages because I see an issue right here real quick. I'm going to start with Phil. Phil says, all right, I refreshed comments twice, and it looks like my comment section is deleted. I don't know, man. Should be all right.
What's going on?
Mike will try a couple things on his end. I'm going to jump back on the Discord. Aaron says, "Here we go, Steelers." That's right, baby. Here we go, Steelers. Let's get this win. This is the must win. Otherwise, you just lost, your fifth game, 2 of them against the Bengals, and again, trying to stay in a race by the way of catching up doesn't really seem to favor us. We have to play like our backs against the wall. And as I said yesterday, it's got to be an all hands in thing. Let's see if this team has the heart. Does this team have the heart? And even if you go out and put up 110% and the effort is there and you still manage to lose, I'd at least like to see that. But come on, this is as must win as a must win could get mid-season against the Bengals. All the players that we brought in this offseason. This should be a game that we win. And again, guys, we had a month to try to figure out what it is that we could do to stop Joe Flacco and these two stud quarterback or wide receivers in the league. But you're going to see, guys, as we get back into the numbers, there was a lot more issues than just that. It was a rough day overall. Mike, any luck on Field of Steel?
No, yeah, I'm over on what can get on my end, and I'm seeing normally they'll pop up, something will pop up and said that it was deleted either by the system or the user, and nothing's on there, and I haven't touched a single comment.
Yeah, because Tortilla saying I was wondering why there was no. I was commenting, and I see a whole list of comments, so I don't know what's going on. But I did point out my screen was different today when I got on, so I don't know what the hell's going on. So I'm going to continue to read the comments. I don't know why no one's able to see them, but I will continue to read them. RB says this. He says, "The absolute fucking destruction of Heinz Acrisure Stadium has made me despise playoff high school football." Well, luckily for us, those games this weekend will be at Pine Richland. Aliquip will be it's going to be at Pine Richland. So the high school teams will not be playing prior to this week's football game. The other 4 classes who will be playing at Acrisure Stadium will be playing there next weekend while the Steelers are on the road. So hopefully that'll keep the damage to a minimum. But I agree, RB. It's just, back in the day when, my team, when I was in high school and, we had a chance and I liked it. But again, now it's effing things up for the millionaires who's a, multi-billion-dollar industry. So you'd think there would be some kind of something figured out. Of course, not enough space in Oakland to put together a football stadium anymore. I don't know the answer to this, but I agree with you, man. I don't know. Maybe you can stay away from go away from the natural grass and go to like that fake natural grass. I mean, that looks nice and it's very low maintenance, like a lot of these high schools are doing nowadays. Maybe that's an option. I don't know. It gets bad. No two ways about it. Let's go right here. Corey Beaver says, "Hey guys, how's it going? I hate being late to the show. Got caught up with my channel again." What's up, dude? Always great seeing you, Corey, man. No problems at all, sir. But yes, I do. I see all these comments. Feel everybody. I don't know what's going on. RB says, "I'd call Alex Highsmith a pussy, but even after pushing out a watermelon-sized object, even a pussy eventually heals." I like that.
Oh, wow.
I like that.
Yeah, so it's weird. So, that comment's not showing up on the YouTube board, but it's showing up on our end on Restream.
Yeah, I got all the comments.
Yeah, I got them on here, too, because that RB one I didn't see on YouTube, unless I'm missing it.
No, I see them on YouTube.
See, I'm not seeing them all on YouTube.
Yeah, right here. Corey, Tortilla, Aaron, RB.
Yeah, but that RB one, I went over our YouTube channel. I don't see it. I don't know what the fuck they're doing to us over there.
I don't know. Let me continue. Tortilla says that Corey, were you still on Penn State? You didn't miss anything. Tortilla says,
"You Tortilla."
Whole team questionable. Stranger 4420 says nobody in the Bengals fan base believes Burton is actually sick, other than in his head. Field of Steel. Okay, yeah, he said that's his comment about not able to see his comments. Are you able to see him anymore, Tortilla? Let us know. Or are you able to see anything now? Phil, I'm sorry, Tortilla. Tortilla was why is nobody commenting? Mark Malone. I actually didn't see that comment back to be about being at 25 time weird at the 25 time back to me. Mark Malone says, Corey says, "Is your board linked to Discord somehow? Discord might be absorbing some shit."
Nope.
And the thing is, like I said, I'm looking right at my phone right now, looking at YouTube. Is your board linked to the Discord somehow? Discord might, it's literally on my.
Yeah, on mine though, I'm missing certain comments. It's weird.
Yeah, maybe something's effed up with the platform. I don't know.
I'm blaming YouTube. Not me, because I'm perfect.
Guys, this is something that I find interesting as well. We're talking about our Steelers. Are they good enough? Do they belong? Do they deserve to be, you know, everything that we want them to be? Listen to what the point differentials are for all 8 division leaders, Mike. In the NFC, Seattle, they have a plus 103. Plus 103 at this point in the season. They're in first place. Detroit, plus 83. Not the greatest, but still pretty damn good. Philadelphia, a plus 26 in the NFC East. And then in the NFC South, Tampa Bay, plus 14. Okay. Indianapolis in the AFC. Mike, Indianapolis in the AFC South has a plus 115. New England has a plus 86 in the AFC East. In the AFC West, the Denver Broncos, a plus 62. And finally, guys, you want to take a stab? Pittsburgh Steelers, minus 8. Minus 8 in point differential, guys. So again, maybe we should be on our hands and knees, being thankful that we're even in the position that we're in. Again, division leaders 115, 103 plus, 86, 83 plus, 62, 26, 14. Pittsburgh Steelers minus 8. We're gonna have to get a lot more of them turnovers to turn this season around. If we have to continue the things that helped us with the success so far this season, guys. Again, 5-4. Bengals coming in with a 3-6. We are 5.5 point favorites. Nothing from that game shows me that any reason why there should be this great confidence that there is between the media and I guess with Vegas giving us a 5.5 point head start. But again, people were seeing this, Mike, and there's obviously something they see. Is it the home? Is it being the home team? Is it we won't be fooled again? They'll think they just figured that Tomlin is such a great coach that we're going to get this figured out, and it's not going to be the thing that beats us. Why all the optimism, Mike? Listen, they're my team. I want them to win, but at the end of the day, I can't say that I'm super optimistic about anything from this point on. From what I've seen through the first half of the season, at this point, I say I shudder to say this, but I think saving their season is going to be the goal of this team in the long run, because you lose 1 or 2 more games. Again, we are the only first place team that has a minus differential. There's a lot of things that says that we probably don't belong where we're at, Mike.
No, you're right. There's a lot of things that say we don't belong where we're at, but yet we are where we are. And, oh, well, it is what it is. But why we're favored, part of it's the home. And I think it's the, you're playing that team again. Usually you split, definitely in the AFC North, you usually split against each other. And if they're really looking into it, look how the way the Steelers defensive front's playing, how the Bengals front's playing. The Steelers front seven's playing some really good football recently, better than they did the last time we played. Maybe they're thinking, okay, that's what's going to slow that team down. They're going to have a better chance. I think that's it. Or, just hey, we want more people to bet on this game. We want them to bet this way. So we're going to move the line this way. And that's what we're going to do right there for Vegas. But for like the media, I don't know. I don't know. There's a reason why I picked the Bengals to win. I think there's 2 great receivers. They're gonna find a way to get open. I don't care how fast we're getting to the quarterback. They're gonna find a way to get open.
Well, hold on. Let me give you a good argument here.
Okay.
This is why some might think that might have a good game, because this team passed. Did have success from the run, but I'll get to that in just another second. Guys, they might just get help from Mother Nature, because according to forecasts, it's going to be very, very windy on Sunday afternoon at Acrisure Stadium when the game kicks off. Right now, the game projects to start the game to be roughly 15 mile per hour winds, northwesterly winds, with 27 mile per hour gusts. Other estimates predict gusts as high as 35 miles per hour Sunday afternoon. And did I mention there's a 54% chance of our good friend the rain? Mike, this might be the reason that we could win this football game, because if anything slows a quarterback down, it's 35 mile per hour winds blowing in your face when you're trying to hit your best receivers. If there is a gift from the football gods, this could be it, because, again, we had no answer for what we seen in Cincinnati just a few weeks ago. We watched it play out real time. They tried a bunch of different things. They tried adjusting. They tried this, and it was just impossible. We had no answer, and that's insane to me because you have again $165 million invested in this defense, and you're just playing catch up all day long. Now, lucky for us, their defense is wet toilet paper, and we were able to put up a bunch of points later in that game. And again, we'll get to all those stats and numbers in a minute and look and compare and contrast and see what our chances are. But again, thank the heavens above for bad weather, because again, I'm not saying because they're from a good weather place, but the fact is they passed the ball a lot better than they ran the ball the first time. If we could, if it could get shrunk down to one dimension to where they primarily have to run the ball, I like our chance of stopping their running back a lot better than I did last time, Mike, as their running back lit us up in the last meeting that we had. He actually on right here, he had 108 yards. Brown had 108 yards on 11.
Yeah.
11 carries, Mike. That is 9.8 yards per carry. Again, I like my chances a lot better in the with the weather, just trying to figure out how to stop him. I think that's so much more doable. And again, if those winds keep gusting like that, that's no guarantee for the 40-year-old Joe Flacco, who just sat there and was able to pick us apart every single play of the game. So, Mike, the weather. Now, I think this plays a role, in my opinion, is making us a favorite.
Yeah, if they're gonna see, I don't see them trying to run the ball more, be one-dimensional. But yeah, if they want to do anything other than dink and dunk against us, I'm going to go deep. That hopefully will work in our favor with the weather. Maybe hang some of those balls up in the air, and we can get some,
I mean, they might just have to, by necessity, go to the run game, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, and if we can shut that down, that's totally going to eliminate their entire offense at that point. I'm all for it. I look for a lot of runs and short passes with these two quarterbacks with the wind, their arms not being what they once were. Because I don't want Rodgers slinging the ball downfield. We saw what happened last week when he was trying to sling the ball down the field. When I say sling the ball downfield for Rodgers, I'm talking about anything over 12 yards. It was an adventure.
Yeah.
It was a legit adventure going on down there. Every once in a while, he'll throw that pretty ball that's there, but no one's there to catch it. So, yeah.
I mean, for some guy that doesn't need to be in the preseason, doesn't need to practice, doesn't need to participate till the season's about to start, was throwing an awful lot of high balls and bad passes midway through the season when a guy should be at his, playing his peak football. Mike, there's some opinion now that, he's already got 1 foot out the door. I'm seeing this as a story here in Pittsburgh. Another reporter reported that he was slow and incapable last week as he dropped, Mike, in the overall ratings. I went on a little bit about him making it into the top 10. As far as quarterbacks in the league, he dropped from the top 10 to 18 with his performance last week. Is this one game enough to say to you that maybe he is leaning in the way of being done? Again, this was going to be something that I said at the beginning of the year. I said, let's see how Aaron Rodgers does when things aren't going well. When everything was being done and everything was being said right at the beginning of the year, he's saying all the right things. I love this town. It's all about football. Steelers this, Steelers that, blah, blah, blah. I said, there's going to be a day. There's going to be a day when he goes out and throws 3 interceptions. Or there's going to be a day he goes out and loses the game. There's going to be a day when the crowd turns on him and starts booing. What Aaron Rodgers will we see if, in fact, Joe Flacco comes to Pittsburgh on Sunday and sweeps and embarrasses the Pittsburgh Steelers? Because Aaron Rodgers ain't going to want to sit around and look like it's his fault. And even if it is or it isn't, what Aaron Rodgers do you see after this week, Mike, providing the Steelers cannot beat the Bengals for the second time this season, regardless of how the game ends? If it's on a game-winning field goal, if it's because they threw 400 yards, whatever the case may be, how much can we still rally behind Aaron Rodgers for the last 7 games? Mike, and do you think we could still be as good as we were early in the season when we were finding ways to win games, or do you think he kind of starts to decline because again things aren't going his way? You're not hearing the positive talk, you're not hearing all the rah coming out of his mouth anymore. So I don't know if we're starting to see a little bit of a turn in Aaron Rodgers. Again, the local media they're predicting, Mike, that he is already thinking about retirement. There's nothing to hold that. But again, this is just the way some people are perceiving it around town. Mike, talk a little bit about Aaron Rodgers' future if the Steelers are unable to pull this game off on Sunday.
If they're unable to pull it off and he looks totally washed, you're going to hear a lot of people asking for, a quarterback change. But, no one there's no stories like this at all about him up until we had this game where he threw 2 interceptions and didn't look on target. There was no talk about this after the Colts game. There's no talk about this after the Vikings games and shit like that.
Well, wins, you could sleep it under the rug, obviously.
But even after the 2 losses, there was no talk about Aaron Rodgers going out of town. We come back when it gets Colts, no talk about it. In a game where he throws 2 interceptions, oh, he's leaving town. Oh, he's ready to go. His bags are packed. I don't really buy that he's ready to bail on the team. Just listening to his interviews and talking to the media, he still sounds engaged and focused and wants to get guys out there focused.
Do you think the frustration of things not going his way? Like you said, some guys that they have to find a way to get open. Making to me think, okay, well, it's not all on me. These guys have to get, and if they do, they do. That's one thing or another.
Yeah.
But if these guys continue to not get open, let's see. Mark's saying on the board it is one game, but let's just say it's not one game. Let's say Cincinnati goes terribly wrong as well, and the guys just don't get open for him, or there's not enough talent to find ways to get open on the field for him. I mean, at some point, does it seem like he could shit out, or do you think that again? Does he finish the season? Like, are we playing Baltimore in week 18, our 17th game? Is Aaron Rodgers still under center, providing he's healthy?
All depends if that game means anything. If that game means we're gonna make a playoff or not, then no. Like, if we're not gonna make the playoffs, and it doesn't matter if that game affects us in any standing whatsoever, no, I think you're gonna see Mason Rudolph or Will Howard out there. Now, if that game means something, it's a meaningful game, yeah, you're going to see him out there or ready to go and ready to compete. But if it's a meaningless game and then we're going to play a bunch of backups, I don't see him out there.
Also, Aaron Rodgers makes the comment he wants more opportunities from Muth. Muth obviously is making him look good. Last time we played the Bengals, Pat Freiermuth had 5 catches for 111 yards, 2 touchdowns. That's 22 yards per catch on all 5 of his catches. So he's going to want to get him involved. No surprise there. Last time the Bengals played the Steelers, guys, the second wide receiver on the team, the second leading receiver on the team, was DK Metcalf. He had 3 catches for 50 yards, and then Jaylen Warren, who had 4 catches for 31. Our running back he had an exceptional game that day as well. He had 16 carries for 127 yards. That's almost 8 yards a carry. And Aaron Rodgers, guys, he threw 2 interceptions the last time we played the Bengals. You got to remember the cattywampus numbers here. It has him with 4 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. You got to remember those touchdowns came later. It was ugly at first, and we had to come back to lose that game 33-31 to even be at that point. Aaron Rodgers goes 23 for 34 last time they played, 249 total yards. And then back over to the Bengals, Mike, Joe Flacco. Get this. Last time we played him, and this is, again, this is we're confident that this isn't going to happen again. Mike, Joe Flacco, 31 for 47, 342 yards passing on the day, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. The wide receivers look like this: 16 catches for Chase, Mike, 161 yards and a touchdown. That's 10.1 yards per catch. Also, T. Higgins on only 6 catches. 6 catches, Mike, 96 yards for 16-yard average, and he also has a touchdown as well. So again, I'm a little shaky on this. Now, if the Steelers come out and dominate this game, I'll be ecstatic and I'll be excited and ready to move forward. But after looking at these numbers, going back, because I had to go back and look at them, I'm thinking, okay, it was shitty. We couldn't stop their passing. We couldn't stop Chase. Between the 2 guys, they caught 22 balls for 255 yards. And then I watched a couple games. We beat this team. We lose to this team. So then I have to go back and look at it, Mike. These numbers are making it difficult for me to agree with just the general media right now. Again, I think a lot of people think that it's going back to Pittsburgh. It was a 2-point game last time. Chances are it's going to swing our way. We'll go 1-1 because, again, losing 2 games to the Bengals is difficult to do in the division. Those numbers alone might make it hard for me to accept everybody's positive feeling right now. Again, I think this is going to be a very difficult game, and I just think if they get into that swing, it's going to be very difficult to stop them again. 22 of the 31 passes that were caught were by those 2 gentlemen, and there was even other guys like that. Fant had a touchdown on 4 catches. a bunch of guys. So again, we got to come in with a totally different game plan, I would think. If you come in and play the same way. And of course, we did move Ramsey back. He's playing safety now. We have a few other things going on. You have Duggar involved now. We didn't have him last time, but still, you have to. I mean, they got to be ready for anything because one, if you prepare for the dink and dunk game and then they go to something different, or if they start at one way and make adjustments throughout the game, I think this is going to be a lot tougher than a lot of Steeler fans and a lot of people believe this game is going to be. Mike, I think just because we're the Steelers, a lot of people are leaning toward us in this one.
Well, then you take a look at like last year too, and that first game was a shootout between the Steelers and Bengals last season. It went back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. We ended up winning that one out. Chase had a lot of yards. Higgins had a lot of yards. That second game was an 18-19 game. T. Higgins was held in check. Jamar Chase ended up getting a touchdown, and he got a lot of yardage, but he was going up against Corey Trice mainly in that game. So like this, and that was with Joe Burrow at quarterback as well too. So I think a lot of people thinking, okay, it might be a similar type thing. You know, first game played out the same way. We couldn't cover them at all. They moved up and down at will in the air attack. Maybe this, we have a better secondary this year than we did last year. Now like you said, we got Kyle Duggar back there.
The numbers tell us otherwise, but
well,
we believe that we do.
Yeah, but now like
we're told that we do.
Hey, it is what it is. But they should be better than what we had last year back there. I think this game will find a way to slow them down.
I hope you're right. Again,
I still think the Bengals are still going to win, but I think we'll find a way to not give up 20 catches to Jamar Chase again and 16 to T. Higgins or whatever they had.
This is where I think is going to be our problem with. I mean, I think you just nailed it, Mike. I think we get caught up in overcompensating. We tend to do that. And there's been times whenever, we're like, we got to do this. And then they start doing it. And then you kind of get into game situations where you don't need to do that so much, but they continue to do it just to prove their point and drive the point home. And again, I think things like that, just the stubbornness overall of this team. But again, I hope I'm wrong. I'm rooting for the Steelers. I don't want the Steelers to lose. I'm just trying to make sense of what I'm looking at on paper, what I'm looking at on the computer, and what I could remember from watching the game. And to me, that it was not a good game at all. Again, it should have been a lot. The margins should have been a lot different in this particular game, Mike. Let me go through some of the team stats. I went through some of the player stats, Mike. The total yards in this game, again, this was made up more at the end of the game by the Steelers. Total yards went in favor 470, almost 500 yards by the Bengals on the day, almost 500 yards. We had 396, so it looked a little closer at the end than it probably should have. Passing wise, they threw for 320 overall. We threw for 249. We did have more running yards in that game, which didn't surprise me. We should have more running yards than they have. It's a surprise to me that they was even almost able to get as much as we did by the way they were passing so much. That's what scares me. You got to be able to break this team down. We weren't able to break anything down. They were able to pass short, pass mid-range, run the ball. So, we have to come in with a better game plan. That's right off the top. Yards per play, Mike. We actually had more yards per play than they had. We had 7.3 yards per play. They had 6.5 yards per play. They had 27 first downs. We had 19. Both teams' third down efficiency was okay. Theirs was 50%. Ours was actually 70%. So those things wasn't against us in this game. Total plays, though. They almost have 20 more plays in this game. Like they had 72 total plays. We had 54. We did not allow them to sack our quarterback, and we did get to Joe Flacco 2 times. Not many punts. They punted 3 times. We punted twice. The penalties could have certainly come down a little bit, but when you're playing these wide receivers, it's no surprise that your penalty numbers are up, Mike. 7 penalties for 59 yards. In the Bengals game, they had 4. They only had 4 penalties for 35 yards. No fumbles lost. We talked about the interceptions. And finally, the time of possession, almost 10 minutes longer. So this team beat us. There was no, we can't go to, oh, well, it was just this. Oh, it was just that. We got to figure out a game plan. They had a week. They got to go back, watch tape. And again, Mike, I think if that weather keeps Joe Flacco, that 40-year-old arm, from slinging the ball around, who's been limited this week with the sore shoulder, those kind of things play to our favor. And Mike, I usually only do this for good teams, low scoring. Keep it close and keep it ugly. This might be the way that we beat the Bengals. Usually we're the king of that. And in the division, we win a lot of games playing that way. And I don't usually reserve it for division teams because we don't need it. But keep it low scoring, keep it close, keep it ugly. And with this rain and wind coming into town, Mike, I think this might be a good recipe to, again, get us to 6-4, to live another week. We're hanging by a string. Ravens play the Browns, guys. There's not going to be much wiggle room after this Sunday, I don't think.
Yeah, they have to go and win this game. This is a totally must-win situation. They can't go out and lay an egg. And I think this game is going to mirror the last game of last season. I think it's going to be a tight game, back and forth defensive battle. More or less like our offense shit in the bed and our
Let me ask you this:
keeping us in it.
If you're the coach over in Cincinnati, put yourself in their shoes. Put your the game that we just played a month ago. What's your game plan against the Steelers? Do you continue to come in and try? Because again, we just could not stop what they were doing. I find it would be of low football intelligence to not come out and play that particular game. If they go back to doing what they usually do on an every week basis when they lose to teams, I think that is a totally beatable team for us. The thing was, Mike, they know us as the Ravens do, as the Browns do, better than anybody else, getting the Steelers 2 times a year. I think it would be a dumb move just in football in general if they come out and not try the same exact method this particular week. Maybe disguise it a little bit. Maybe come out looking like we're not going to do dink and dunk and then eventually turn to the dink and dunk. How much do you think the dink and dunk is involved in this week's game planning?
No, I think a whole hell of a lot. Just based on if they're going to be watching the game film and seeing how quick the Steelers have been getting pressure the past couple of weeks, to where, okay, we are going to have to get the ball out of Flacco's hand quick. He gets it out at quick. Herbert was getting it out of his hands a lot, and he was under pressure like 30% of his snaps. It's one of the highest pressure rates last week. So, you're going to see a lot of quick passes in this team. And to start it off early and to see how the Steelers are playing. Are they playing over the top, keeping both safeties back, or are they showing too high and then rotating into single high once the ball snapped? That little cat and mouse game between offense and defense to see what coverage are they showing, what coverage are they keeping. Keep doing it because they'll show too high safeties and keep them there, but they'll also show too high safeties and Ramsey or Duggar will drop down into the box. So if I'm them, I'm starting out with the short passing game and working in my run game to see if I can establish the run early. Then guess what? I'm going to keep running that dink and dunk, and then that's when I go over the top because my dinking and dunking and my running's working. Then I can start shooting up over the top to Higgins because now we do have to show one high safety, bring him down, and just let Flacco read which open guy he wants to find.
So my question is this: Darius Slay, he's hurt. He's got a concussion. Let's say he don't go. Jalen Ramsey, Duggar safeties. As far as cornerbacks, that doesn't leave a whole lot, Mike. We still have to cover Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. What's the game plan on manning up and who's going to be covering who?
I don't want Joey Porter Jr. anywhere near T. Higgins. That's an automatic flag for some odd reason. It's just
so as much as
anytime he's on Higgins, it seems like they always throw the flag against him on T. Higgins.
As much as we have in our secondary, Mike, we don't have anybody to cover these guys, and this is why we built our team the way that we did this year. Because realistically, who is going to be on Chase? And when we do figure out who's going to be on Chase, who's going to again cover Higgins? And if Joey Porter's not having the luck and he's just everything what you're just saying, so those kind of things are still a concern. I'm waiting for this game to see some of these answers that a lot of people are wondering, Mike. Again, this is going to be a very difficult game.
My ace in the hole is James Pierre, baby.
He's playing good football.
He's playing good football. He's the hot hand. You don't have him follow a guy around the field, but you might do a hey, you're on this side of the field, you're on that side of the field. You just stay there. If they're gonna motion a guy over, motion with him. But if Higgins lines up on this side of the field and he happens to be against James Pierre, so be it. If he happens to be up against Porter, so be it. Don't let these guys follow him around because we tried that last game and it didn't work.
Thursday night football last night, the week 11 got kicked off, guys. The New England Patriots helping us none. They beat the Jets. No surprise, 27-14 in that football game. It continues on Sunday, guys. Let's get back to the board, Mike. I don't want to get too far behind. A lot of good comments I'm seeing as they are scrolling past me. Let's get caught up here. I'm going to go right. Okay, so this is back whenever they couldn't see their comments, so they can now. All right, I'm gonna start right here. I'm going right above when Fearless Steel says Tallman is a great coach. John says this. I do want to say what's up and good afternoon, good morning to you out west. To John, my man, he says turnovers caused short fields and easy points. 1-3 without them. 1-3 without them. Sorry, the W being the Browns. We don't have many convincing wins. And you look back at it, nothing was really convincing except for the 23-9, I guess we could say, over the Browns. I would agree with that. I not too much convincing at this point. All right, Tortilla at that point says he could see the comments. Fearless Steel says the Tallman hate comment deleted and the praise comment isn't. Whatever. Also, Fearless Steel says Tallman sucks. Dang, hanging up Teflon. Listen, I'm not going to get into the whole debate about the coach, but I do want to say this. I sent something in our group chat for the show yesterday. It has been since Barack Obama has been in office since the last time the Steelers won a playoff game. Barack Obama was still in office the last time the Steelers win a playoff game. We've gone through Trump 1. We've gone through Biden. We've gone through so far in Trump 2. So again, do what you want, say what you want. That is the way it is right now. Let's see. Let's move forward here. John says, I see the Bengals tight ends feeding in the middle. That's a problem too, Mike. Let's say we get this figured out with the Higgins and the Chase, and then the redhead and all these other tight ends that always tend to get open, for against the Steelers. That's another concern of mine. This is going to be a tough game, guys. I really think that some of the optimism around the city in the media here is unwarranted. I can't see how it's not.
I think we should just forfeit the game because we are going to lose 98-0.
Well, hey, we're going to be able to score. It'll be 98-97.
We're just going to just forfeit the game. Don't even try.
What, this is literally the worst defense in the league. The Cincinnati Bengals. There's no way that we should not put up the points. I think that this is going to be again that's our saving grace in this particular game. And again, with the weather, I think that certainly plays in our advantage as well. Cody says this. He says YouTube hates me because I'm black. And because you do the ass to mouth. No, it wasn't him that was doing the ass to mouth. Who was doing ass to mouth early? Was that Mark Malone?
I think it was him personally.
Yes, the YouTube watches things like ass to mouth. Titus says, Cody, LOL. I do want to say what's up to Titus Kitchen. Good afternoon or good morning, depending where you are as well, sir. Tortilla says, got to get your minorities right. RB says, by the way, Calvin Austin is not Spencer Anderson. You must got tongue-tied there. Cody said, this Rodgers trying to force balls into tight windows. I feel sorry for his women. You're supposed to ease it in.
Ooh.
He's calling them windows. I mean, come on. What kind of guy is this?
I know.
RB says, Asante Samuel's a smart guy. He can learn all 4 of Mike's defensive plays in real quick time. Like seeing the Tecmo Bowl defensive playbook maybe is what you're saying. Tortilla says, forcing your balls through a window sounds intense. What kind of window?
What the fuck are these guys doing?
How big are your balls, man? I can get my balls, my wiener. I can get everything out the window.
Damn.
John says this team's figured out how to play the Steelers and Rodgers, minimal blitzes, but apply pressure and double DK. I think it will get worse with just minor flashes of decent play. That's when Mark says he had one game, man. Relax. Mark Malone also says this one ball clanks right off of Calvin Austin's hands. Tortilla Samuel's going to be out there looking like Batman because he can't turn his neck. Yeah. Mark Malone says, remember how many shitty games? Barely. I mean, he did have them, but like I said, I always felt like we had a chance to win when Ben Roethlisberger was our quarterback. I just did from day one till the time he retired. I mean, there was games that I thought we were going to lose along the way. But I got to be honest with you, man. I just didn't. And he was our career guy. You know what I mean? I think that's a little bit of the difference between what Rodgers is a flash in the pan. You know, say what you want, but this is a flash in the pan. Once this is over, if he decides to go, that was it. The Rodgers experiment would be just as quick as Russell Wilson experiment. And look, we all forgot that that came and went so fast. So again, plus you're getting your new talent and hopefully new quarterback and draft. I just think that, you know, say what you want. I wouldn't fall in love with Aaron Rodgers if you're a Steeler fan. He's a drop in the pan, guys. We've had guys that have been back there longer. So Tortilla says we're screwed. John says TJ, good one. John also says Flacco only beat the Steelers twice in the same season. Flacco only beat the Steelers twice in the same season. One time. Okay. Next comment. But that was, you know, considerably. I would think that would. I don't recall the year, but I would think that the Ravens were probably considerably better than the Baltimore or better than the Bengals with the 32nd defense. I would think. You know, maybe again that goes in our favor. Hopefully, Corey says this. I'll be confident after the game if we could win. If we can rebound at home, then things will be okay going forward. I know they're a rival, but their defense shouldn't be giving us headaches. It shouldn't be. And again, I think we're going to be able to score some points in this football game. Just managing and keeping them from scoring more. That's the big challenge. And like you said, Corey, I mean, we win this game at home. Like, you know, you go on the road to play the Bears, which again, generally is a winnable game. So, you know, we have this shouldn't, the bottom shouldn't fall out. You don't want it to fall out at this point of the season. You know, basically let's call it halfway point. Then, you know, it's if we go, we're 9 games and we have 8 games left. So it's the halfway point, and you don't want the bottom to fall out. So there's a part of me that thinks they're going to find a way to beat Cincinnati, maybe Chicago, Mike, because if they don't, I think there's a lot of people that start losing interest in this black and gold football team in the next couple of weeks. And I hate to see that this early because, as you mentioned on the show many times before, Mike, there's not many what's the word that you use? Games that didn't have any importance, relevant games.
There's only been
Coach Tomlin.
One game that did not matter, like one game that did not determine if they were going to the playoffs or not.
Yeah,
one game. So like it sucks not winning the playoffs, not getting close to championship, but every game we have played except outside of one has had meaning, has had an importance to it. So you got that going for us, but you know, I'd like to have more, but you know, it says something to where they're always in it until the bitter end.
Ortiz says someone's got to drop a Steelers song. We've been asked since Black and Yellow came out. Steel Bitches by ASAP. Rocky? Corey says
ASAP Rocky. ASAP Rocky. Did you say ASAP Rocky?
What's an ASAP Rocky?
ASAP Rocky.
Well, before you start smacking your forehead, please explain what you're talking about. I don't, if that's a thing, I obviously never heard of it.
He's a musician.
Okay, what is he? What's he sing?
Well, fuck if I know.
Okay, so now you're trying to make me look silly. You have no idea anything about ASAP Kelly.
He's like Rocky Blyer. We need you ASAP.
Yeah, I don't know anything about no ASAP Kelly or whatever the fuck her name is. Once you can tell me anything about her, then I'll listen. But I do have to move on. Corey says there were at least 2 touchdowns we left out on the field that night. Bingo, what's up, dude? Always great to see Bingo Winchester on the board. He says I'm at the point where we don't win, where a win won't even be enjoyable. They're not a good football team. And if they are, they're not playing good football. And that makes it difficult to you know, why engage? Why invest my energy in this if next week is going to be a problem? If you know, there was a time where you said you looked at a schedule, you see the New England Patriots, and you're like, oh, next week's going to be a problem. The thing with us thinking, geez, I mean, we could beat the Bengals. If we could beat the Bengals, the Chicago Bears might be a problem. So the telltale signs, again, you got to be able to read what's on the wall. It's not very encouraging at this point, but again, you could extend your string, if you will, that you're holding on by with a win this week. And you can start to try to convince yourself and other people by a win next week. So, you know, it starts with wins. You got to win. Nothing good comes from losses. So Cody says this. He says, home is where you make it. Home is where you make it. Followed that up by saying you like to see Holmes naked.
Hey, man, we had a deal. You put the auto trader in the basket. I'll put the
lotion. Oh, wait. He follows it up. He says, you like to see homos naked. And speaking of lotion, Derpy was slapping lotion on your head Saturday. Now, what the fuck was that all about?
I have no idea. I was just sitting there.
I
Next thing you know, I got lotion put on my head. It was kind of erotic.
It was like all in your hair back there. Like it wasn't just on your head.
Like the thing that was like him and Finn thought they were being funny and sneaky. Like it was actually like a cooling gel, so like it cooled me down. Like it was comfortable.
Yeah.
Now Derpy touching my head though, like my nipples did get hard. I don't know if that was fear or excitement.
I know that Derpy he was up to his wrist in his nose last night. So
Man,
I'd be willing to bet, Mike, that it wasn't just lotion that was on your head and in your hair that night. Because again, if he has no shame in front of the camera with that finger and that nose,
right? You know, hey, we've seen his titties on camera. We've seen fingers going into orifices. I don't know what Derpy's into some freaky stuff.
John says this: the Bengals don't want any of the Steelers' rush. They might try to adjust with more runs and tight ends over the middle if needed. Cody follows it up by saying, done rush Flacco. What is his old ass going to do? Run double coverage. Everyone on the field and let him stay back there. He will probably break a hip running. And again, guys, he does have the sore shoulder. That's something maybe, hit him once or twice early. Get a couple of licks on him. And, he's a veteran, but he's human as well. Hit him a couple times early, make him think, and, maybe that could go a long way. Okay, he says, don't rush Flacco at the beginning of that comment. Tortilla says, shit, Flacco did hit us with a read option last time. I just, again, it has to be different. We have to have a game plan. The thing was, we didn't have a game plan for the dink and dunk. The Steelers, I do think, prepared to come in for the standard vanilla play of the Cincinnati Bengals and everything that they've seen on tape up to that point. And when he came out and just kept doing the same, the slant, the quick, the bang, 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 I don't think that we were prepared. So having a little bit more preparedness, I think could certainly go a long way. But again, Mike, I would love to be seeing Jake Browning this week a lot more than Joe Flacco. I certainly know that our coach would. Geez, can't we catch a break? And that's not saying a lot about our team that we want to face Jake Browning and not Joe Flacco.
Well, it's like in baseball, you got that certain pitcher you cannot hit. In hockey, that certain goalie you cannot fucking score on, or that bum who just always lights your goalie up. That's Joe Flacco right now to the Pittsburgh Steelers in the latter half of his career. He's that guy who just comes. He can play like with a JV squad and probably come up in here and put 40 on us. He has our number right now at this point in his career. So yeah, it's like it would be better to face Browning because like, God, that'd be fucking awesome. But you got that guy who has our number no matter where he plays. He's kryptonite to us, man. We can't stop him for some odd reason.
A good game plan goes a long way. Mark Malone says this. We did have the secondary master. Shouldn't be a problem. I know.
The secondary master. No. The secondary master proven wrong over and over again that's
what we were sold.
Secondary, but
that's what we were sold though. He was this defensive mind. It's great.
Secondary master. The guy doesn't even coach the secondary. The secondary master.
But I think what he's going off of is he was a defensive coach coming in. I think it's the logical.
Does anyone know like how many different coverages they ran against the Bengals? They were running so many different
and nothing
looks back in the secondary to act like they weren't doing anything different is disingenuous at best.
I don't know. I invite you to look at the numbers in the game with me. I'll go back and sit with you. I think that there could be. I think a lot of people actually forgot a lot about this game. I'm going to be honest with you because there's been games in the meantime. A big win. There was a big loss. So again, I invite anybody to go back and watch the game because it didn't look good by the way of our defense at all. And as a matter of fact, if we didn't have that late rush in the game, we would have probably got beaten by a lot. We were lucky. We were lucky that the defense is so bad for Cincy. But I invite anybody, go back and watch the game. It was not pretty by any means. Let's jump back on the board here. Corey says, at Cody, he ran like a 16-yard first down last game. It made me want to drown a puppy. I was so mad. Mm-hmm. Stranger 4420 says this, that's how the Bengals offense is built. You can't adequately cover every weapon. But yet they're 3-6, guys. Somebody's finding out a way to beat this team. I mean, we're not up against the Patriots here. They're the Bengals. Is my opinion. At Corey Vick, Tortilla says, RB says, me personally, I'm playing a ton of zone combo, running Peyton Wilson at Big Nickel and having him crack Chase at the line absolutely. I would do everything I can to mess up the timing of that guy. And it's tough because he's shifty and he's elusive, and it could get you into some penalties if you hang on a little too long. It's tough. There's a reason he's that good. Cody says this, I would let Flacco stay in the pocket and have everyone double team all wide receivers till the D line gets a sack. And that's the thing, guys. It was tough to even get to him with that offensive line being so bad. Yes, we did get him a couple times, but with that ball coming out so fast, it's hard. It's hard to get back to the quarterback. If he's getting the ball out in 2 seconds or whatever he was getting it out, that means the guys that are trying to get to him have to get there even quicker with a 300-pound man standing between the two of them. So, again, a lot of this, they need a game plan. It's got to be a good defensive game plan, because what has been working hasn't been working a lot. And if it doesn't work again this weekend, then I'm not sure that this team is able to figure out how to fix this problem. Again, because this is the Bengals, Mike. They're 3-6. This shouldn't be the biggest problem in the world for a team that built this defense around stopping the Bengals pass.
Yeah.
So that's just where I'm at on this. I mean, this is exactly how we built our team this year, was to stop this particular offense. And the fact is, it was our worst game of the year defensively. Let's get back at it. Phil still says, I just can't wait to see the greatest coach the Steelers have ever had on the sideline pumping that fist again. What a great coach. Now, it's only going to get worse, guys, if we continue to not win. I know people don't like the arguments and the controversy, but I can't imagine it's going to get better. Things don't get better with the football team. Again, guys, we haven't won a playoff game since Barack Obama. Cody Silva says, Mike Tomlin, not for life. Mark Malone says Obama probably had the game rigged for his boy. Well, he's a Chicago guy. It seems like if he was going to get somebody do some rigging.
If these idiots can go a day without interjecting race into anything, I would fucking want to do this show all day, every day. But you know what? I don't want to do this all day, every day. I'm over this, guys. You all have fun.
All right, man.
I'm taking a producer role from now on. This is my last show ever here, so deuces, everyone. Stick around for Ryan, because I am the fuck out of here. You will never see me again.
All right, there you go, guys. I personally, I don't see where the Obama probably had the game rigged was racist, but I'm going to continue on. Somber says this. He says, just like I said last time we played the Bengals, rush 4, blanket secondary, spy Brown. Phil still got a laugh. Tortilla says Steelers are really America's team. They really are. I mean, when it comes down to it, I don't know what kind of away crowds that the Cowboys get from game to game, because I don't really pay too much attention to the Cowboys. But again, at the end of the day, it surely seems like we fill a lot more stadiums than Dallas does. What did I say? The Cleveland Browns, the Dallas Cowboys, because I don't see what they do from week to week, and it's never really made a point that, wow, look at them. Look at the stadium being overtaken by the Cowboys fans. I've never seen that, as a matter of fact. And a lot of times when the Steelers go on the road, that is the case. Cody says this. He says, blitzing old-ass 90-year-old Flacco is stupid. Dude runs 2 miles an hour. Follows that up by saying, whatever, Mike, you watch Penn State. Corey says this. Ryan, it's because the window is closed, trying to shove it through a double-pane glass. Cue Stone Cold's music. That's right, baby. Mark Malone says, well, yeah, man, Roger says he's playing one more year. That is it. I mean, is he going to, though? How does this season play out? Let's say we lose out. I mean, it's possible. Let's say we lose out. Let's say they lose to Cincy, and then the Bears, and then the Bills, or lose a majority of the games. Does Aaron Rodgers still come back? I know what he said when things were good. What's he going to say when things are bad? John says this. If the Steelers D gets splash plays and turnovers, they could win. Plus, if their O can sustain drives, capitalize on turnovers and keep the D fresh. Phil Steele says black and yellow. Black and yellow, black and yellow. Where's Wiz at? He could be helping us put together a rally song. Somber says, did y'all hear that Harry Mack freestyle at the Steelers facility? Pretty dope. And listen, if you go on to YouTube and you go on to Spotify and a few other places, there's a million Steelers songs out there. There's a couple that are good. But a lot of them, it seems like people just throw together to get something out. Say, hey, I got a Steelers song. There is a lot of songs out there that are kind of garbage, but there are a bunch out there. ASAP, ASAP Rocky. Yeah, I don't know who she is, man. Never heard of her. John says, I don't like it. However, I will be surprised if they make the playoffs and do well. I won't be surprised if they don't make the playoffs or do so and shit the bed. Cody says, Ryan, your thug card is right. Come on. I guarantee if I asked my 30-year-old son, I bet you he wouldn't know what an ASAP Kelly is or whatever the fuck her name is. I bet you. And he listens to rap. So, and I grew up, I don't know what an ASAP Kelly is. My bad. Phil says, shit, I'm not black and yellow. I'm a black and gold motherfuckers. Somber says, W Waterboy reference. Corey says this. Somber is Joe Dirt. It's Joe Dirt is what he said. John says, the problem for me is I will watch them no matter what, but they have been playing ugly for over 5 years. Not a fun team to watch. Again, guys, they have not won a playoff game since the Obama administration. That's embarrassing. That's not they haven't won a championship. They literally haven't won a playoff game through two and a half presidents almost. That's just, come on. That's not Steelers. I don't care what anybody says. Somber says it's not. Cody says it's Joe Dirte. Feel the Steel. He says at John, they've gone from men of steel to men with tampons. Basically, it might be time, guys, to make that move. Aaron says this. I agree with John. I watch no matter what. I will too. I haven't missed a game in 30 some years. I'm going to watch them. But it's getting frustrating, and you like at least to think you have a chance. And if you have a chance, you at least like to think that you have potential to do other things, make the playoffs, move up so and so. But sometimes it could get difficult. Stranger 4420 says Derpy was just imitating Rodgers last year versus the Jets. So was that when he was picking his nose or took his shirt? I don't know what that one is, but Derpy's he's been red hot lately. That's all I got to say. RB says I'm worried about Chicago for the simple reason Darnell Wright is going to absolutely dominate TJ Watt, and Phil might be on the suicide watch after that game. Well, we're going to send Derpy. We'll send Derpy down to Texas, and he'll kind of shadow Phil to make sure Phil does nothing out of sorts. Derpy will follow him around with no shirt on. It'll be a fun time. We'll tape it. We'll watch it live as it's going on. Phil says this. He says it's all schemes on both sides, and Steelers coaches suck right now. Not a whole lot to get excited about. I agree. Somber says, oh, shit, you're right. John says, I was watching the Rams game, and the announcers were talking about how McVay is using 3 tight end sets like an artist. I dropped my bong and broke it. These 3 tight ends was supposed to be our saving grace, man. This was supposed to be the big thing. Anybody else not excited about Jonnu Smith at all? He was the big athletic playmaker. I mean, it wasn't going to be the white end. It wasn't going to be the guy who's 7 foot tall. So they bring in Jonnu Smith because they're 3 different styles of tight end. One's a possession guy, one's a huge guy, and one guy who has the athleticism. And the athletic guy, I think, has done the least amount. And I think even Meatwad has done more productive-wise than Jonnu. Somber says, I was thinking Farmer Fran. Kenneth, what's up, dude? Always great seeing Kenneth on the board. Kenneth says this, they have proven they will score points. We just have to do the same and stop them a lot more than last time. And that was it, too. We just got to kind of keep the game in hand. You got to keep it, keep it from getting out of hand. If they come out and score 2 touchdowns and a field goal in the first 3 possessions they have, you're already putting yourself behind the 8 ball. And again, if you can't stop it at all against a team that has a terrible offensive line and a backup 40-year-old quarterback, Somber says the dude with the Cajun accent. Follows it up by saying wrong hillbilly. I think maybe you're talking about the I don't know. Is this about ASAP? Stranger 420. John sounds like drug abuse to me. Go watch The View. Mark says. I think this is during Mike's departure. Tortilla says no. Somber says, well. Cody says, is that guy for? I think so. I don't know, man. I don't know what this deal is. I'm not real sure. I'll have to find out. Cody says, broke what, Vanilla? What broke, Vanilla? Somber said Obama. Maybe it was the Obama comment. I don't know. I didn't think Obama rigging something was racist, but hey, what are you going to do? Cody says this. Was he watching Penn State highlights? It must be. Must be. Mark Malone says, no, Rogers said this year is his last year. 2025 is it. Yeah, Cody, Mark Malone, I think Mark just said on the thing, something was rigged. Because we didn't win a playoff game since Obama's administration. Cody also says, the fuck Obama got to do it. Exactly. That motherfucker. Sauber says, this Rogers is frail. He'll barely make it through the season. I'm surprised he made it this far, guys. I really am. A couple more hits like he took from Broderick Jones, though. It just might, who knows how much endurance you could have after that. Cody says it's ASAP Rocky, man. Cody says this Somber is Joe Dirt. I already corrected myself. Cody also says this. Ryan read the comment wrong and said Somber is Joe Dirt. Somber is Joe Dirt. Haha. Tortilla, he says Vanilla just needs a nap. Maybe just a little beauty sleep maybe for Vanilla. John says Jonnu Smith is definitely on the disappointment list, a wasted roster spot. Something that seems so promising at the beginning of the year, guys. A lot of these guys just kind of shitting out. Jonnu Smith being number one. I couldn't be any less satisfied with Jonnu Smith. Vanilla left because of Obama. I think so. Somber said that's when it started. ASAP Rocky is a crappy male hip hop. Oh, it's a dude. Obama Ben Tomlin. Tortilla says Obama Ben Tomlin. Field of Steel says fact is Vanilla don't like when you talk bad about Daddy Tomlin. Cody says ASAP Rocky long love ASAP was one of the best mixtapes ever. I'm gonna have to look him up. I'm gonna be listening to some ASAP Kelly this weekend if I get a little time. Cody says someone needs to give Vanilla a big hug. Maybe Derpy. Derpy could come down and give him one of them shirtless hugs from behind. Up, and then he follows it up by saying maybe Derpy. So who knows? Who knows? I don't know. I know that everybody was arguing the other day, and I know that all I know is that he's not here right now. So that's all I have to say. Mark Malone says this Thunder got pretty mad about the secondary master comments too. Again, I don't see anything racist about that. I see somebody that's not happy with somebody's performances, and I think that's appropriate. I mean, again, we haven't won a playoff game since Obama's term, so for us to, come on. Let's get back into some other things here. It's tight-lipped around the Steelers locker room, guys, on whether or not we're going to see any Juan Valdez-Scantling. That's right, guys. Mike Tomlin, he says this about Juan Valdez. He says this week, let's see. Okay, so Tomlin and Arthur Smith both deflected pointed questions directed about Marquez, Juan Valdez, Scantling, and turned them into generalities about the loyalty of the practice squad. Asked how he assesses the wide receiver and where he is in terms of being an option, Arthur Smith says all those guys, if they're out there practicing with roster flexibility, guys every week get opportunities. Things happen. Anybody that can help us. We've seen it through the whole entire season. There's been guys that have pulled up. It's been pulled off a practice squad. So basically what they did was this. They deflected the coaches. They basically couldn't say yes or no. So they just told us, instead of saying, what's Juan Valdez's chance of playing? They said, everybody who's on the practice squad got a chance of playing. So, again, pretty big deflection on that. That was what was said about MVS this week. Also, anybody cares? I think he'll be back, but I do know that this running back, Trey Sermon was cleared. He cleared the waivers. He is free to sign with any other team. If anybody's keeping up with what Trey Sermon is doing, I know that he fell quite down far on the list of running backs, but he did clear the waivers, guys, and can be moved at any time. Anybody is interested in him. Let's talk about some. You know what? Let me get back to the board for a few. I do want to stay up on everything on the board. Mark Malone. Okay. That's there's an ASAP Ferg, too. Like Fergie. Phil still says sticks and stones. Vanilla come back, fool. Don't do it, Ryan. Save your time. Corey says, I walked away from my phone for a second, came back to Vanilla ranting, and boom, he was gone. He's probably heard a lot of race shit at work lately. There was nothing that was racist that was said. I mean, you're allowed to not like the head coach. That's 100% acceptable. John says, Mike was on thin ice for about 3 podcasts. I could tell. Wish he could understand where I'm coming from with Tomlin. I supported him until the 2018 Jags lost. Performance, not pigment. Army saying. Phil still says that. Corey, boom! Tortilla Vanilla is really Spider-Man. He just needed an excuse to leave. Cody says this. He says, where's Jamal when you need him? I know. We need Jamal to come and smooth things over. Come on. Somber says he's back on the PlayStation. A practice squad. Okay. Practice squad this morning. Sermon. Yes. Okay. Yeah, he is. He cleared the waivers, but he is still on the practice squad. But he can be picked up by anybody at any time. Somber says that about an hour ago. Cody says, fire Tomlin. He says, I don't care who walks away, guys. I am still on the fire Tomlin boat because, again, your team stinks and you're allowed to. So that I have no problem with, guys. Let's see what else I do have here in front of me. Will Howard. My question on the board is, Will Howard, to you, is he a student of the game? You see some of these young quarterbacks, they come up and they do everything they can to learn. They're constantly in the film room. They're constantly studying. Is he a student of the game, or is he an overzealous rookie? What's going to be the results ultimately with Will Howard? Because again, he's practicing when he's hurt. He's doing all the things that you do when you're, you're a young, fiery guy. But my question is, are those signs of being a student of the game, Peyton Manning kind of guy, for example, or is he just that overzealous rookie who hasn't had an opportunity to play because of injury in the preseason, and other things like this? And of course, he probably won't see any game time this year unless something goes terribly wrong. What do you guys think on the board as far as how we should take Will Howard at this point? Because again, we're going to go into the draft and not have any idea of how Will Howard has played in the NFL. He's not going to get any snaps, if that's the case, guys. So I want to just ask you, because I don't know. Does his enthusiasm, does it seem like it's because he's a student of the game, or does it seem like he's an overzealous rookie? Just kind of wondering, guys, what you think, because I'm kind of mixed on this one, and I'm not sure because we haven't had an opportunity to see him, unfortunately. But that's a big question going into, again, the draft. I mean, it's no secret. We're looking for our quarterback. We're looking for that guy. And if this guy does not get a chance to even take a snap, so that just kind of makes me wonder what you guys think. What do you guys think about Will Howard? Student of the game, overzealous rookie. Stranger 4420 said there are a bunch of people in the ASAP mob, up to 22, depending on who you ask. Oh, geez. I can't wait to check these guys out. Phil still says that. Ryan, Coward told 7, get in there. Why can't Teflon Don tell Howard to get in there? I don't know. That's a good question. Corey said there's a trade-off with our coaches through history. Noel has some bad years and won 4 Super Bowls. Cowher had some losing years and won a Super Bowl. Tomlin has never had one and won a Super Bowl. Maybe that's why we're not getting rid of him. He never had it. To me, I mean, it's 9-7, 9-8 is in a missed playoff. That's not a good year. Yes, he didn't fall below 500, but that's a standard that we created. People might not look at it as a great year, which apparently, if you don't qualify to make the playoffs, and it obviously isn't a successful year. But again, you could always skate that line. Somber says this. He says he's doing everything he can to improve from what I can tell. Somber also says this. He needs at least a half before the season ends. I agree. You got to see the kid at some point. And again, unless we're in it till the last minute, I don't know how this can play out in that way, Somber, because it seems naturally that Mason Rudolph is going to be the next guy. I don't know. Me personally, I'd like to see him, but Corey said this. So as much as we may be tired of his shit, he's the second most productive head coach in Steeler history, and he's still making history, good and bad. I like him and just needs a change of scenery. I'd like to see a little bit more good. Again, who's still satisfied with the 500 seasons? Anybody? 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 Cody says, I thought it was Will Howard. It is Will Howard. Let's see what else we got here. Tortilla says, yeah, as long as Howard can keep his fingers out of Zach's ass, he should be good. Kenneth says this. Kenneth says Howard loves every detail of football and is the type of guy who wants every team that passed on him to regret it. And I hope you're right, boy. And if he's the guy, or here's another thing. We shit him up and he slips through our fingers. We get a quarterback in the draft and he goes somewhere and ends up being a exceptional quarterback in the league. That's a Pittsburgh Steelers thing. That could happen. And then who knows what we end up getting. But let's hope that's not the case, guys. Cody says this. Vanilla just up and left. Huh. Whose list am I on? Whose list am I supposed to be on now? I'm going to have to, I don't know. We'll have to figure something out. Hopefully we'll get things figured out over the weekend. Phil says this. He says that Cowher losing seasons. Cowher went to two Super Bowls and many playoff wins. Tomlin hasn't done shit. As a matter of fact, we haven't won a playoff game since the Obama. And it's not even an Obama comment. It's just the fact that that's how long ago it's been. Is what brought that comment up for me. Because again, you went through a whole entire Trump term. You went through a whole entire Biden term. You went through so far the Trump term. That's a long fucking time. And I don't care if it's fucking Barack Obama, Jimmy Carter, or Saddam Hussein. The point is the point. It's been a long fucking time since we won a playoff game. John says this. See two options with Tom when the team rebuilds and finds their quarterback. Unlikely. The miss on quarterback during the rebuild likely. Regardless, he is there until end of 2027. That won't change. Woolhard, somber. Corey says, I'm not satisfied at all with Tomlin. I think he needs to go to another team to ignite his career again and make and that's the thing. Maybe he can. Maybe he could go somewhere else and be successful. And that'd be fantastic. Nobody's against Tomlin. It's the job that he's getting done is the problem. Why do people have a hard time understanding this? I would love to see him go somewhere else and be successful. If he went to the Giants and took this team to a 13-5 season, 13-4, I'd be thrilled. I just don't get why people don't see. It's always got to be race with some people. For me, I don't know. The guy's not doing the job, and he hasn't done the job for a decade. Anywhere else, any other person gone by now. Am I wrong? Am I wrong? Am I wrong? Anywhere else, you go through 9 seasons of not having a playoff win in football. Of course, baseball, I mean, it's different. But this is unacceptable. The job is unacceptable. Again, I don't give a fuck what color the guy is. What a fucking stupid thing to be arguing about. It really is. That doesn't even matter. All I know is we're not doing any good. Oh, we're not doing good. No, we're not. Come on. You know what we're talking about. Tomlin says Tomlin did 9/11. Also, John says, I'm not sure Tomlin wants to draft a quarterback next year. Then he is under the pressure to produce. I see another vet rental for next season. Field of Steel says that, John, 2 more seasons of bullshit. No. Kenny says, I hope we don't do Howard like we did Mason, Dennis, Dixon, and others. And that's the thing. And one of these guys, Kenneth, is going to come out being successful. And we're going to be like, wow, we effed that again. And especially if he's if Will Howard is a film room freak, like a lot of people are saying, and he's that student of the game, there's a very good chance he could go somewhere else and be decent. The fact of the matter is we never had to look at him. But again, there's a lot of time left. And again, this conversation might change 2 weeks from now. Say we lose these next 2 games, then it's very possible that we do see him. So again, I'm going to try not to go on about Howard. We might see him. We might have ample opportunity to see him, unfortunately, as again, we're coming up, guys, on a game this weekend against the Bengals. It's one is a 3-6 team coming into the city of Pittsburgh to play our Steelers on Sunday afternoon. But this 3-6 team they had us running in circles last time we played them. So let's hope we could get back at it. If not, maybe we might see that Will Howard a little bit sooner than we thought. Cody says, I'm against Tomlin. Listen, and I got another thing. If I'm against Tomlin, it's not because he's a black guy. What a stupid thing. That's just nothing that's in my because listen, we don't win any fucking playoff games. Is this? Cody says this is a week-to-week league. Sometimes I hate him. Sometimes he's the GOAT. Sometimes exactly. When we win, I have no problem. When we lose, I have problems. What's hard about that? I think it's called being human. Tom Tortilla says this. He says, I'm slowly being turned into a Talmudist. He's my favorite coach and will always be, but all things come to an end. Cordy says this. Marty was fired from San Diego after losing an AFC champion. And believe me, people were fired for a lot less. You've gone almost a decade without being able to win a game in January, dude. Come on. All right, let me get back to Corey on that one. Corey says this. He says, Marty was fired from San Diego after losing an AFC championship game. I expect their aggressiveness, but in hindsight, it fucked them. John says this. 2 seasons ago when the Eagles shit the bed and Sirianni was given a choice, accept the new stud ACs, stay out of their way, and motivate or bounce. See what happened. Mark Malone says Howard and Rudy will be battling it out next year. Maybe a draft pick thrown into the mix. And what do you think, guys? What do you think we're getting? I mean, it seems obvious that we could be going after a wide receiver. However, we've gone with that one for 2 years. Would it surprise you at all if they go through the first 3 rounds and don't grab a third round, a wide receiver in the first 3 rounds? It would make me nuts. John says Tomlin doesn't have to leave, but he must be forced to change. Exactly. The guy himself, people don't hate. Maybe some do, but I got to be honest with you guys. Here's the thing. If people don't start letting things roll off their skin, here's the problem. The internet is a double-edged sword. There's a lot of good things, but no matter what, no matter how good things are, no matter how well things are, there's always going to be an asshole. No matter where you're at. So with the internet reaching everybody, let's say 99% of the world all gets on the same page for once, you're going to still have the assholes causing problems because it's the internet and you could do it. You could say what you want to say. So that's why, I can't get all shook up over things like this because again, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Nothing is ever going to be perfect and somebody's always going to have an opinion against yours. And, there's not anything we could do besides do your thing. That's all you can do. Cody says this. I want the Notre Dame coach, Marcus Freeman. Oh, I want the Notre Dame coach, Marcus Freeman, to lose tomorrow. I know that because they do come to Pitt in ESPN College Game Day. Will be down on the North Shore at Acrisure Stadium tomorrow, guys. So I know a lot of you guys aren't the biggest Pitt fans, but again, College Game Day will be at Acrisure Stadium from 6 a.m. till afternoon. Getting ready for the number 22 versus the number 9 Notre Dame matchup. That game's at noon tomorrow. Tortilla says this. He says, yeah, what if Tomlin takes a role like assistant GM or some shit and we bring in a new coach in? And I said yesterday, listen, what if it's a black coach and he comes in and we all love him? Then what's everybody going to say? Oh, you didn't hate this. You didn't like this guy because he was a black. That's why I hate that argument. So we're never going to be able to fire this guy? That's stupid. You base it off his performance and go from there. All the other stuff is shit. Let's move on though. Tortilla says, Mark Maloney says, I think we draft 2 wide receivers high next year, extend Washington. Keeping Washington's a must. Somber says, my guess is a vet, 3rd round quarterback and higher. Cody says, yeah, I don't get how everyone gets offended so easy. I work in an oil field. Everyone is a racist asshole. I hear you. It's not just there, believe me. But at the end of the day, you can, how can you dictate the way other people, their opinions? How can you let that dictate your life? You got to still do what you do, Joanne said this. A. Smith must go first. Mark Malone, A. Smith must go first. Mark Malone says the whole rigged word triggered Mike being a Trumpism. Tortilla also says, when you got the Mike Tomlin, you paint the barn Mike Tomlin. So no wiser words have ever been spoken. And if there was a list, you would be on it, Tortilla. Let me take a look, see where we're at here, guys. Again, big news about the game. The weather is going to be bad. And people might say, well, you know what? The Bengals, their weather is no better in Cincinnati than it is in Pittsburgh. But if you consider the game that was played last time, guys, between the Steelers and the Bengals, and all over and over and over and over, the ball went to the air, up to 35-mile-per-hour wind gusts they are expecting for Sunday afternoon here in Pittsburgh, guys, and also a 54% chance of rain. So, if anything can help you out, certainly some weather situations like this could help. The wind gusts, the rain. So maybe some things are in our favor. I don't want us to lose. Again, through all this talk, I want to be in a lot better mood next week. I want to, maybe if we could come off a win, get ready for the Bears. I really feel that I will be. But right now, after what we've seen over the past month, it's very, very hard to stay optimistic. And, you've all been Steeler fans as long as I have. It is what it is. It's hard. It's tough when you're not looking good. Here's a couple for you guys. A couple comments that Terrell Austin made about a couple things. Terrell Austin says this. He says, quote, I'm confident that the Steelers will bounce back against the Bengals. He's confident. And another part to that particular article, Terrell Austin says this. He continues to praise. Patrick Queen. This is what Terrell Austin says in quote. He says, I think that Patrick Queen has done an outstanding job. So my question is this. I mean, I don't know. Again, maybe you bring in a higher quality coach and somebody that just is better at the job. Maybe these kind of answers go away because, again, they keep telling us they're satisfied. They're happy. Things are good. Things are going to be okay. Don't ask questions. It's fine. I'd like a little bit better of an explanation because, of course, I care. We actually care about what this team does on a week-to-week basis. But Terrell Austin, guys, he says, I believe it. I believe the Steelers will bounce back. Patrick Queen's doing an outstanding job. So maybe, I don't know, guys. There's always a tomorrow. There's always another day. But, guys, coming up this weekend, the Cincinnati Bengals will be on the North Shore at 1 o'clock on Sunday afternoon. Let me see what's going on the board. John says this. John says replacing Flores with Tallman would have been the ultimate. Right? And people would have liked it. People, for whatever reason, likes Flores. And listen, I don't know much about him personally, so I'm just going off of what I know about his coaching. People seem to like him. Cody says it's funny because I start most of the shit. I didn't even have a hand in this one. What the fuck? Cody says, you can ask Somber. I'm the goat of making people fight. You know what? I can relate to that. I can as well. Let's see. Mark Malone, got to feed Warren. Got to feed Warren, jam it to Washington and Freiermuth on play action. Kenneth says, let's be honest, none of the borderline racist things I hear go over my head because I miss nothing. At the same time, Tomlin has earned his criticism, and the idea of the show is to talk amongst friends. And that's what I'm saying. If something was out of line, I would take care of it. I believe me, I would. And I've had to in the past. But again, it's America, guys. I'm not going to get it, I don't know. Broken record for years is what Phil is saying. Kenneth says this, people tune in due to comfort in being themselves. I agree. That's always kind of been the goal with us and viewers is, and I don't think you do, Tortilla. Listen, I think it's acceptable. And that's what makes our show different too. We don't go cookie cutter like everybody else is doing it. That's always been my goal, is to stay away from the way everybody else does. And if somebody needs to express their opinion, again, if something gets out of hand, it gets dealt with. If not, it's again, you're American, man. America, fuck yeah, Cody. America, fuck yeah. Saving the world in the motherfucking day, yeah. Tortilla says if Terrell Austin says it's no good, then that means no bueno. Now, see, can't Cody get upset? That's what we're saying. It's guy talk, man. We're in the locker room, basically. Cody should be pissed for no bueno. That's what I'm saying. Come on, guys. Pull our shit together. It's football. We love it. Pittsburgh Steelers first, as Tortilla is saying. That's all that matters. Saving the world in the motherfucking day, yeah. Phil the Steel says that Ryan let the terrible board know they haven't seen anything yet. I've seen some good Ryan versus Vanilla. Hey, you know what? There's been some bouts. Yeah, man, no two ways about it. John says this Art extended Tomlin until after the 2027, knowing the next few years uncertainty. His cash equals his choice. Tortilla says Pittsburgh first. Cody says I tune in, y'all, my dogs. You know what? That's what I'm saying, dude. If we were sitting around the locker room, we wouldn't be censored. And then, and I'd be snapping Yins in the ass with towels is what I'd be doing. So there you go. Cody says this. He says, see, most places I get on, you can't even say fuck. Guys, don't forget to check out our website. There's all kind of stuff over there. I do know that Mike has done a lot of work on the website. Keep up with all the information. There is all the contact information and much, much more over at the website. Do check it out at www.the2dumbyinzers.com. Let's get ready. We're going to get into the trivia of the day, guys. I always, the way I do it. It's always, what do you know your enemy? How well do you know your opponent? This time, it's basically that, but it's ultimately a skiller question. So I changed it up a little bit today to see, because again, a lot of times it's tough to know the information of the team that you're playing. I think maybe somebody might get this one. Let me grab a couple more of these messages first. Phyllis Still says that Ryan. Okay, we got that one. We got that. Cody says, I'm so fucking offended. No buenos, Cody. No bueno. Let's see. John says this podcast is the most chat interactive Steelers podcast on YouTube. Many just like to hear them say. I agree, and that was another goal. That's exactly it. And that's why we did this to be different and be ourselves, and so. RB says, I got to make a Sheets run. Should I grab Mike a Snickers, please? He's not himself when he's hangry. Tortilla says, Mike, dumb thoughts about to be legendary this week. Guys, let's get into the trivia question. How well do you know your enemy? How well do you know your opponent? Guys, of course, we're playing the Bengals, but I am going to change it up a little bit this week. It's going to be more of a Steeler question for you guys. Here we go. It sounds a little something like this. And I got to do overs and unders by myself. So there you go. Steelers, Bengals trivia of the day. Which Steeler has the most sacks all time versus the Bengals? Which Steeler has the most sacks all time versus the Bengals? So it's about the Bengals, but come on, this is a Steeler question the Steelers can get. Guys, take a minute to think that over. We're live 5 days a week right here, Monday through Friday, 11:30 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. every day right here on the tube. Question of the day. Which Steeler has the most sacks all time versus the Bengals? I'm looking for a defensive player. Tortilla comes up first on the board by saying Harrison. Throw your guess up there, guys. Let me know who you think. I'm looking for which Steeler defensive player has the most sacks on the Bengals of all time. It's a lot to choose from. James Harrison, Jason Gilden, Joey Porter, Watt, the whole way down the list. Could go back to the old days, the old division, back when Lambert and Ham and all these guys reigned in the 70s. I'm sure they was hitting some quarterbacks. Take another minute to think it over, guys. One more time. Which Steeler has the most sacks all time versus the Bengals? I'm going to give you a hint. The number is Greg Lloyd. That's another one, guys. Joey Porter Sr., the one that can actually catch a football, Cody's saying. Here's the hint, guys. The amount of sacks that this player has against the Bengals. I'm looking for who has the most. This particular player all time has 14.5 sacks against the Bengals. That's the number that we're looking for, the player. One more time, which Steeler has the most sacks against the Bengals all time, guys? With 14.5 sacks, one person got it right on the board. Feel the steal? TJ Watt has the most sacks all time by a Steeler against the Bengals. TJ Watt, guys, 14.5. Here's one for you. James Harrison, unless this is wrong when I looked it up, 2. James Harrison, 2 career sacks against the Bengals. I think, let me look it up again, because again, sometimes things are wrong when I look it up, and I don't want to give you that false information, but I'm going to look it up one more time, because I think it's 2, which seems bizarre, right? Let's see, career sacks versus Bengals. Get a number on this. Cody says it's got to be Watt. Phil still says boom. Let's see. No, he had 2 sacks as a Bengals linebacker. That's what I'm seeing. Okay. So I don't know how many sacks he does have. It does not say this, but it does say that he had 2 sacks with the Bengals. That's what I'd seen when I was looking up to make sure see if he was the guy or not. But again, guys, TJ Watt, 14.5 sacks, all-time leader from the Steelers against the Bengals. Watt, Tortilla Jackson says Watt. Everybody, Watt is the answer to that. Let's do some overs and unders, guys. I'm going to need your help a little bit. Usually, Mike and I pull the weight through this. I'm going to need a little bit of help. So if you guys want to step up and throw your answers on the board and your opinions, that'd be great. At least until I can get some things figured out here around the studio this weekend. I do appreciate your patience with everything. Let's get to the overs and unders, guys. Aaron Rodgers, I'm talking about 2.5 touchdowns thrown. Now, mind you, he threw 3 or 4. It's either 3 or 4. I'll pull it up right now to see, just to be sure. But he did manage to throw a couple touchdowns the last time against the Bengals, guys. Aaron Rodgers threw 4 touchdowns. He went 23 of 34 for 249 yards, 4 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, guys. Aaron Rodgers, 2.5 touchdowns, over or under on this one, 2.5. Touchdowns. I say it's going to be over, because this defense is very weak, and I do think that we're going to be, unless it ends up being like that 19-17 game Mike was talking about earlier last year, I think it's going to be similar to where we're going to have to score points to win, guys. I say it's an over on the Aaron Rodgers, over and under on the 2.5 touchdowns. Stranger 4420, he says this. He says he's thinking 45 to 38 Bengals. Mark Malone says over. I think he throws 3 this week. Phil says that Cody do the odds. Cody says, damn, he got 2 sacks that season. Haha, he sucked. Phil still says Sunday prediction, Steelers 2, Bengals 3. Just another great game under Teflon Don. Cody is saying 52 to 36 way the Bengals. Also, Tortilla says my second guess was Timmons. Timmons is not a bad guess at all. One of my favorite linebackers, certainly in my life. We could all talk about them greats in the 70s. Unfortunately, not of us were old enough to see them at that point, but in my lifetime, watching football and understanding football, Timmons, one of my favorite. He was a lot like Levon Kirkland, just not as big, but don't get me wrong, he wasn't a small dude. Tortilla saying a 2020 tie is what he's saying for this game. Field of Steel says you do odds with Ryan. He's saying that to Mark Malone. Let me get to the next one, guys. I say over on that. Jaylen Warren, 110 yards, over or under. Last time we played these guys, Jaylen Warren ran the ball 16 times for 127 yards, no touchdowns. Over or under, does Jaylen Warren have 110 yards this game rushing? I'm going to continue. Throw up your answers as we go. Also, Jaylen Warren, I'm an over on that as well. As much as I think we're going to need to throw to stay in this game, I think that Tallman is hell-bent on proving the point that he will run the ball if he needs to run, and I think he's going to overdo it. That's just my opinion. Pat Freiermuth, guys, 5.5 catches. 5.5 catches for Pat Freiermuth. Pat Freiermuth last game had 5 catches for 111 yards and 2 touchdowns. 5.5 catches, guys, for Pat Freiermuth. I say under on this one, but I still think he has a pretty decent game. Roman Wilson, 3.5 targets, not even catches. Does the ball go to Roman Wilson more or less than 3.5 times? Again, big catch last week in the end zone, a touchdown. He's been coming along. He had a little setback, but I'm going to be honest with you guys. I wouldn't expect to be surprised to see his numbers increasing. Roman Wilson, 3.5 targets, 3.5 targets. I'm wondering on that. Cody says it sucks because we could score 35 or we could score 3. You're right, man. Cody also says under. We're done. We done run the ball. Cody. Mark Malone says I'm going to go under on Warren, under on Fry. Okay, so he's under on Warren getting 110 yards and under on Freiermuth getting 5.5 receptions. Again, Roman Wilson 3.5 targets. Next on the list, Metcalf, a half a touchdown. Sometimes he disappears and he shows up and gets a touchdown. I think that he's been gone a couple weeks here as far as results. I'm going to have to say on the half of a touchdown for Metcalf, I'm over on that one. I think he gets at least a touchdown. Mark Malone, I think they bring out the wide receivers this week. Wouldn't be what I do. It might be what they need to do though, dude. You know what I mean? Especially if Flacco dinks and dunks all day. We're gonna have to be able to throw. And then the weather, though. So that is a big factor, the weather. I did want to throw that out there, guys. Up to 35 mile per hour gusts and over 50% chance of rain. So that could certainly play in our favor. So I got over on that. What about this one, guys? Boz, field goals, 2.5 field goals, considering the weather. I'm going to go under. I think he gets 2 field goals. 1.5 turnovers by our defense. 1.5 turnovers by our defense caused. We didn't do too well last time as they turned the ball over 0 times, the Bengals. 1.5. So either 1 or more. What do you guys think on the turnovers? TJ Watt, half sack. Is he a half sack, guys? Does he have a sack in him? Is he going to get one or no? TJ Watt on the over-under is at a half. Does he get a sack or no? Mark Malone is saying over on Boz, so it does mean he's going to get over 2.5 field goals. Tortilla says the real question is how many targets will DK drop? No. And we're lucky because that's not killing us. That's not the thing that's really hurting this team. If we lose a game entirely off of Metcalf's hands, then you're frustrated. But he just doesn't catch every ball. All right. Mark Malone says over on Watt. He's going to get that sack, guys. Let's stick to the defense. JPJ, Joey Porter Jr., is he going to get 1.5 pass interference or defensive holding calls, guys? 1.5 is the number. I know the number is low, but I didn't quite know what the coverage situation was, so I couldn't put him on a body to get a real accurate number, so I went with 1.5, guys. Joey Porter, 1.5 pass interference and or defensive holding is the over-under on that. Next is defensive or special teams touchdown, 1/2. 1/2 of a special teams or defensive touchdown. It'd be great. It would be great to get a little bit of help from the special teams in that area. Mark Malone is saying over on the Joey Porter Jr. He said he's at least going to get 1.5 pass interferences or defensive holdings. Somber says over if he's covering Higgins. Cody's saying over as well. Again, guys, defense or special teams. Half a touchdown. Somber saying under on a defensive touchdown. And here's the last one, guys. I got to do it. I got to do it. If you have to leave the room. Last one. A half of a devastating injury, which means losing a starter or anybody for a long period of time. Guys, a half, a devastating injury is the last over and under for the day. Tortilla says Porter already got his second flag and the game hasn't even started yet. My man. But, guys, I do want to say thank you. I do want to say under on the injury, Somber. I like that. Let's try to stay healthy. I think that we need to stay healthy here. Certainly over the next couple of games, you want to beat the Bengals. You kind of need to beat the Bears. After that, it's going to get rough. You got Baltimore a couple of times. You got the Bills. You got the Lions. Another division game with the Cleveland Browns. As a matter of fact, the only team that seems like it's a winnable team when we're a struggling team would be the Miami Dolphins. But, again, this Miami team came out the other day and beat Buffalo. So a lot of questions, guys, moving ahead. So that's why we're going to stay on top of this Bengal game on this Steeler Friday as we can and get through these games one at a time, and then we'll get ready for Chicago next week. So let's hope we can get this big win over and under. Tortilla says, does vanilla count as an injury? No, not yet. No, not yet. Phyllis Steele says no. Mark Malone under. Vanilla on the IR is what Tortilla is saying. Mark Malone says Thunder injured his vagina. But I do want to say thank you so much, guys. I really do want to say thank you for coming and hanging out and checking us out today. We really, truly do appreciate each and every one of you. We wouldn't do it without you. Thank you so much. Everybody on the board, I want to say thank you as well. You guys always keep the show on. Keep it interesting, man. We love you on the board. Always great talking to you guys. And everybody at home, maybe you're listening you're in the car, you're at work, maybe in the store, got earbuds in, whatever the case may be. If you're listening, thank you too. Cody says, you bunch of racist degenerates. Also, what else do we got? Yeah, dude, check out our social media pages, guys. If you haven't had a chance, swing over to Facebook, X, formerly known as Twitter, Instagram, Threads, and even TikTok. Hit the follow button to keep up with the two dumb Yinzers are up to on a day-to-day basis. And if you haven't had a chance yet below, just hit the like button, hit the sub if you haven't, share, and even leave a comment. It helps us out in the algorithm, and we appreciate it if you do. Thank you so much. And finally, guys, be sure if you have it in your area. I know Cody asked out in Texas, he wasn't seeing it, but if it is in your area and it is available, grab yourself a case of Duquesne Pilsner. Going ready for the game on Sunday, guys. Get a nice little buzz going. And matter of fact, I'm going to do it tomorrow too, because the Pitt coach, the game was at noon. During the press conference the other day, said the Pitt coach did say this. He said, make sure you get drunk. He said, get liquored up. The game is at noon. So big game, guys. I know you love your Steelers, but if you're interested to see what the Pitt Panthers are up to and playing again Notre Dame, that's at noon tomorrow and ESPN College Game Day. Aaron Donald will be the guest picker on ESPN College Game Day, and Aaron Donald will be having his number retired later on at the game. So even if you're an Aaron Donald guy, you like the way he played, tune in tomorrow to check that out, guys. But yes, do get your Duquesne Pilsner, everybody. It's our favorite drink on the show. We always have some here in the studio, made right here in Pittsburgh. And as it says on the can, grab a Duke. Guys, don't forget your pick'ems. I think everybody got them in. Jamal, Tyrone, I think they still need to get theirs in. But so far, everybody, they won last night. Nobody took the Jets. I can't believe nobody took the Jets, right? But the New England Patriots, they won that game 27-14 to kick off week 11. Steelers play Sunday, 1 o'clock at home against the Bengals. Bengals come with a 3-6 record. I think this is a must win. I don't think it ends your season. Obviously, you're still in it, but if you want any kind of optimism moving forward, I think that the Steelers need to win this game. Phyllis Steelers versus Ryan Zarrillo. I don't know. I don't know who ASAP Jamie or whatever it was is. So I don't know if I fall into that category. Cody says, I thought Ryan was a G until he says ASAP Rocky, ASAP Rocky. You know what? The Rocky is the most confusing part for me. I could remember the ASAP or the ASAP, or whatever the hell it is. Rocky. That's the one I'm having trouble with. But nonetheless, guys, again, big game. Keys to winning this game. Don't play anything like you did last time. I don't know. You could get over complicated and try to figure this out. And where to put guys, don't let the same thing happen last time. You're a better football team than they are. They're not a great team. Their defense is terrible. Their offensive line is the worst in the league. Figure out a way to stop the ball just getting dinked and dunked over the middle. That's the game. That's the difference in this football game. I think our offense is still going to be able to score 25 to 30 points. That's our offense. Just don't let what happened last time happen. Again, I don't know the answer because Ramsey's at safety, Darius Slay's out. So I don't know exactly what it is that they do have in the game plan, but I know just don't let what happened last time. You probably win this football game, guys. I think this is going to be it for everything for today. Again, I do want to thank everybody for hanging out with us. We certainly appreciate each and every one of you. I apologize for what happened on the show. I'll try to talk to Mike over the weekend and see what's going on with him. I don't have any answers as we speak. Cody says it's Rocky. Is it always ASAP Rocky? Or sometimes does it just go by Rocky? Is that what you're saying, Cody? I don't know. Tortilla saying ASAP Vanilla. But again, guys, thank you so much. We certainly appreciate everything. Hope everything gets brought, we get everything resolved in this, and I think that we will. Tortilla says, if we win, Mike will be back. So Guys, again, I do thank you so much for everything. Thanks for hanging out this weekend. I hope everybody has a great, safe weekend. Be sure to get your drink on, get your smoke on, get your jersey on, and get your terrible towel ready to wave, guys, because again, the Bengals need to get down. The Steelers need to take them down on Sunday, 1:00 on the North Shore. I'll be back on first thing on Monday to talk about this game and much more, and seeing what the hell it is that the Steelers are looking at moving forward after that. So this win is big, guys. Field of Steel says if it was 1995 to 2008, we'd say see you after Victory Monday, but it's been years that we can surely say see you on Victory Monday. Stranger 4420 says ASAP is short for always strive and prosper. Okay. And Sommer says, take it easy, folks. We thank you guys. I want to thank everybody one more time. Have a great, safe weekend. We'll be back first thing Monday morning again to do it all over again. I hope to see everybody then, and hopefully we'll be celebrating Victory Monday. I think we got this, guys. I'm a bit concerned about some of these areas. I think rightfully so, though. I think last reason, last game certainly gives you a reason to be somewhat concerned, but I think we win this one again. Somber, Cody, everybody on the board. I don't want to miss anybody. Tortilla Phil, everybody, John, Richard, everybody, Aaron Jade. I don't want to miss. If I do, I apologize. Flying down through, but thank you so much, guys. You have a great weekend. Stay safe. I'll see everybody on Monday. For myself, the two dumb Yinzers, have a great one. We'll see you next week. Here we go, Steelers.